Jai Hind and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narsimhan. Rating agency the ICRA says that Bharat is likely to cross 4 gigawatts rooftop addition this year based on the trend so far, and this is with respect to solar power. ICRA reveals that the overall rooftop capacity stands at 11.08 gigawatts as of October 2023, with 2.2 gigawatts added in the first 7 months of the current financial year. Gujarat led the rooftop capacity with 26% share across Bharat, followed by Maharashtra at 15% and Karnataka at 14%. Moving on, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh will attend the crest unveiling of Imphal, the latest guided missile stealth destroyer of Indian Navy. The ship was named Imphal during the launching ceremony on the 20th of April 2019, and it is the first warship named after a city from the northeast of Bharat. The ship is the third amongst the 4 Project 15B guided missile stealth destroyers that are being built at the Mazgaon Dock Shipbuilders Limited. And of course, greetings on the occasion of Gurparab and Kartik Purnima or Dev Deepavali. Dev Deepavali being celebrated beautifully across the city in Kashi. 11 lakh diyas were lit across the 84 ghats or 84 ghats. A special laser and a cracker show using green crackers was also organized by the Uttar Pradesh government at the ghats in Varanasi. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath also took part in the celebrations that took place. Ambassadors and diplomats of over 70 nations also arrived in Varanasi to witness the Ganga Aarti and the Dev Deepavali. The diplomats at Namo Ghat in Varanasi witnessed a cultural show on the banks of the river Ganga, and that included a Bharatnatyam rendition of the Ramayana as well as performances and Kathak folk dances from across the state of Uttar Pradesh. With that, ladies and gentlemen, let's set up story number 1 on this edition of The Right Stand tonight. Bharat is actively cracking down on Khalistani members and their activities within the borders to safeguard national security. And this is how it's rattling the separatist elements who are sitting on foreign soil and evading law. Khalistani elements are now getting desperate day by day and targeting not just Hindus, Hindu Canadians, Indians, and of course, members of the Sikh community who are living in Canada, and they are doing it so more aggressively. The Laxman temple in Canada's Surrey has now become a flashpoint. The Hindu community have alleged that Khalistani supporters or K supporters, these goons, are harassing devotees. Let's now break this down for you. What did the K group protest outside the Lakshmi Narayan temple in Surrey? First up, devotees actually turned around and said when they came to try and disrupt proceedings and celebrations, there will be counter protests. So the counter protests happened outside the temple. Then the groups actually protesting against harassment by K goons and K elements. And after facing embarrassment, this entire mob was forced to leave site because those who were being harassed so far decided to now finally turn around and stand up to the harassers. Temple officials said that this mob had used to come there and protest regularly and harass devotees, but they said enough is enough, we're going to fight back or we're going to protest back. The official has also come back and said that there is a fear though of lives and of being threatened by these K elements continuously. Furthermore, they have added that temples are being frequently targeted by these groups who are getting bolder and bolder and perhaps flirting with this entire freedom of speech and expression, which Canada says it preserves and would love to uphold. There's no action that's been taken by the Canadian authorities despite complaints. That's what officials from the temple are saying. And that's not all. It doesn't stop there, ladies and gentlemen. These K elements are also peddling fake news that Bharat, in order to please their masters sitting in Pakistan. Now, this is one of the examples. Take an example, and here's a recent example for the same. India's ambassador to the United States, Taranjit Singh Sandhu, was honored during his visit to a Gurudwara in Long Island in New York. Taranjit Sandhu also took part in Guru Parab celebrations there and echoed Guru Nanak's everlasting message of togetherness, unity and equality. But K elements fabricated news and circulated a fake video claiming that he was actually being heckled, a charge outrightly rejected. Now here's what intel sources are revealing to CNN News 18. Our group editor security getting us these details. Now these are the pictures. You can see how he was felicitated, celebrated, and they all took and celebrated the first Guru of Sikhi, Guru Nanak Dev. Now, diplomats are being respected across all communities in the United Kingdom, US or Canada. That's what they've said. This outfit that's been declared a terrorist outfit with its leader deemed a terrorist in Bharat is actually misleading people via social media, and that is all for getting money from their akas in Pakistan. $10,000 is the money that's paid and that they claim every time they do some disruptive activity or make these false claims. K elements are using Ambassador Taranjit Singh Sandhu's video to try and mislead youth. Taranjit Sandhu was actually honored by local Sikh community in Long Island. That's the truth. And he's actually, the ambassador himself has tweeted this out. This entire K-mob has been harassing Indians at community events and at temples. A major concern for Bharat is that the cops remain mute spectators, be it in Canada, be it in the US or in the UK. Bharat will soon raise this issue with their foreign counterparts is something that we are given to understand. Safety and security of Bharatiya diplomats is of utmost priority. This has been underlined. This mob getting desperate, fakery now being used to malign Bharat, this has also been rejected. Let's discuss this.
Hello, Moto.
Joining us now, Sukhi Chahal, founder and CEO, editor-in-chief, The Khalsa Today, Sushant Sareen, senior fellow, ORF, Satish Goel, president of the Laxman Temple in Surrey. Let's go straight across to them. Namaste, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you very, very much for joining us. Satish ji, I first want to ask you, Satish ji, what happened with the Laxman Temple in Surrey?
So it right now is 6 o'clock in the morning in Canada right now. It happened yesterday about, actually a couple of days ago, they put a video because there is a life certificate camp there. We do every year through the Council General of India. So it means, by the life certificate means, like the people have a pension in India. So they have a certificate to their pension authority to get their pension there in India. So every year we arrange camp in temple. So it was done, 2 camps were done. One was 3rd of November, but nothing happened that day. And then we have a camp yesterday. And probably what happened, like they have a couple of camps in different Gurdwara, like Abbotsford Gurdwara,
right,
and Ross Street in Vancouver. So these Khalistani went there, like they are making a slogan against Indian government and India. And so then they announced that, like they are coming to Laxman Temple in Surrey, right? So when the people, the video was, go everywhere.
Right.
So then, like the people of in Hindu community, and they get together, and when they came about 10 o'clock, about 10:30 in the morning,
right,
a lot of police was there actually. A lot of police was there too. And then, they start, slogan against, Indian government and, but, they're saying with the mic and everything. And on the Hindu temple side, premises side,
right,
so we have, there are 200 people there. There are 25, 25. And these side were 200. So 2 police was sitting in the middle and the car was passing and everything. So what happened, and then this end up about 2 o'clock. But both sides, we had 200 people, 125 people, but they only saying, we are not against Hindu temple or something like, but we are against the Indian government. Who has assassination like
no, but Satish ji, if they are against the Indian government, they should be protesting outside the consulate. Why are they trying to unnecessarily trouble Hindu Canadians?
100%. That's what our issue was. Right? That's why our people get together. If you have problem, go to the Council General of India, not in the front of the temple. And you're hurting the Hindu community sentimental. So that's why people get together. And I think this has happened first time in Canada. Especially in Surrey, I think so. Never happened before like that. So that's what happened that day.
So, but you're saying it's the first time they have protested at the temple in Surrey, or it's the first time that Hindu Canadians have stepped up against and come out against these K elements?
I know. Okay, first time. Okay, it's happened before too. Target was happening 3 months ago, and somebody jumped the wall and they put poster there. Like some poster. Then after that, nothing happened. But this is the first time. They put this kind of thing in the front of the temple. So even and this is the first time happening against the temple, and people are wake up and they are opposing these guys.
Right. देव दीपावली की आपको शुभकामनाएं ऑन कार्तिक पूर्णिमा एंड सुखी चहल गुरु पर्व की आपको शुभकामनाएं. थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर जॉइनिंग अस नाउ.
आपको भी शुभकामनाएं. Thank you.
Sir, Satish ji, please stay with us. I'll come back to you, sir. Just I request you to stay on with us for another 5 minutes.
No.
We have Mr. Sukhi Chahal, founder and CEO and editor-in-chief of the Khalsa today, and Sushant Sareen ji also. Just quickly getting a comment from them before I come back to you, ji. Sukhi Chahal, this is now they're trying to even heckle Ambassador Taranjit Sandhu. So they are getting bolder and bolder on a day, and that too with fabricated news. On a day when he's been felicitated, welcomed at Long Island, they try and push out propaganda that he's being heckled.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have seen it. Before I answer that one, actually, so let me come back to the Canadian side, actually. So as Mr. Satish Goel said, it did not happen only first time. It happening again and again. The similar incident by the same people. It has happened in the city called Abbotsford, which is only 10 or 15 miles away from the Surrey. And not at that time, they same Gunda element. I don't call them like activists or anything actually. So they all these Gunda dals, they did the same kind of nonsense inside the Khalsa Diwan Society Gurdwara in Abbotsford. Over there was a council by the local consul general. There was a similar camp was being hosted inside the Gurdwara on the request of the management committee, so that many of our old people, especially the retired people, those who can come and get their documents signed, actually, especially the life certificate, and they disrespect one of the retired army officer who was the Gursikh guy. Not only they abuse him, they abuse his son, they abuse his daughter-in-law in front of their small child actually. So this is the nonsense actually, because this is what I am crying, screaming. We have to step up. The people from the Sikh community they have to step up and they have to stop this nonsense. Today they are going to Gurdwara. Tomorrow, now they are doing in the Mandir. They're going to come back to the Gurdwara. This nonsense has to be stopped. These people has to be identified and they has to be. And I'm very sure actually Sushanti actually here, and he will agree to me, and the strict action needs to be taken against these people, and they needs to be blacklisted. It doesn't matter who they are actually.
But the blacklisting, if these are Canadian citizens or if these are American citizens, then Bharat cannot blacklist them, Mr. Sukhi Chahal. How does Bharat blacklist American and Canadian citizens?
Sir, they can. They have done in past. But the thing is, because whatever the message, because when you don't have a solid policy, clear-cut policy, actually, so they take advantage of that. These people, they take the advantage of the situation. These people, many of these people, those who are protesting in all these Khalistani propaganda and also referendum, and I know many of these people, they are getting the visa and getting the vacation, doing the vacation in Punjab. Who the hell giving them the visa? Why they are getting the OCI card? And their OCI card needs to be cancelled. Actually, the message should be not the whole society, not the whole Canadian society should suffer. These people and people, those who support them directly or indirectly, they needs to be forever. They should be blacklisted. They should not have any entry in Punjab or in India. And I support that one. I was the one. And I was the one actually who was in the favor of eradicating the blacklist. But enough is enough that we have to take the strong step. The government of India
not all those who were moved off the blacklist have violated norms, but a sizable number have, and those should be identified. Sushant ji, thank you for your patience. Just one quick word from Satish ji. Satish ji, can you identify the people who were standing on the other side and heckling devotees coming to the temple? Can you identify those people?
Okay. Actually, the people coming, there are a lot of people, we have video and everything, but the people, the community, these people were not from the temple. I know a lot of people, other Sikh community come to the temple, but we did not recognize who the person was. But that's true, I was listening to his conversation, Sukranji, and he showed, they did two times in Avasar Gurdwara and Rosni, as I mentioned before. The third place, they did the temple. But in the temple, they got the reply for that too. But the problem that, he's right. Because, people for the Sikh community should wake up and stop these guys. Because if our community is not going to wake up and stop this guy, they will keep continuing going on like that. Surely, if they have some grudges against the government of India, they should not go to the temple and Gurdwaras and they should go to the Consul General office and do whatever they want to do it, but not to our religious places.
Right. Right, Satishji, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us and for speaking up. And I hope and pray that everybody is safe and festival passes through without any more further incidents. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sushant Sarinji, now one of some concerns that Mr. Sukhi Chahal and Satish Goel have also raised, Satish Goelji also raised. My question to you, sir, is what can Bharat do? Should we also now look at safety and security and the kind of bandobast that we give for Canadian authorities here, officials here? One question. Second one, can we look at blacklisting and rescinding OCI cards of these people who can be identified? Stop their entry into Bharat.
Anand, I'll make 4 points. One, I think action, as Mr. Chahal is saying, it's not only on the Sikh community that action needs to be taken. I think the Hindu community also needs to start taking action. There are many people in the Hindu community who actually do business with these Khalistanis. And many of them will never even identify them, even though they are identifiable.
Okay.
Now, the fact of the matter remains that the bulk of these Khotistanis, as they are called, these guys, Khotistanis, that's a name given by this gentleman in London, and I think that's the right name for these fellows. The bulk of these guys can be very easily identified. They're not a very large number. But, we just heard Mr. Goel. Is he telling us that he can't? It's a small community. Indians are not so many. He can't identify who are these people? Well, for God's sake, everybody knows who these guys are. So, and they should stop doing business with them. They should boycott them. It's the Sikh community, of course, needs to take charge, but the Hindu community cannot say that it's only the matter of the Sikh community. All Sikhs and Hindus, we are one family, we all come from one family, we are one stock, and these are characters. These Khotistanis are basically Pakistanis. They are living on Pakistani propaganda, and most of them become Khotistanis because they think this is their passport to getting an easy asylum or being able to settle down in Canada or the US or wherever else. I think we need to call them out. Secondly, I think Mr. Chahal makes a very good point, and I, for the life of me, cannot understand this namby-pamby policy of the government of India. Cannot the government of India identify these people? Why? And this is a common complaint, Anand, that many Indian politicians in Canada make about what is happening inside Canada. That they say that when we raise our voices with the Canadian government and we try and put pressure on them, the Canadians turn back and tell us, but the Indian government is giving them visas. These guys are going very easily, going to Punjab, partying, marrying out there, spending holidays out there. Why isn't the Indian government doing anything about it? And why is the Indian government not doing it? It's a policy of appeasement. And why should you appease Khalistanis or Khotistanis?
Correct.
Why should you appease them?
Fair point.
It is, and I agree with what Mr. Chahal is saying. That does not mean that you lump the entire Sikh community together, but certainly you can identify these characters, you can scrap their OCI cards, you can ban them from coming into India, you can seize their properties in India. There are enormous numbers of measures that you can take. Number 3, I think, just as there are these leaks in these goddamn so-called free media of the Western media, most of them are lapdogs of their establishments, like the Financial Times and the Economist and the rest.
Right.
I think there should be proper and open statements in the Indian media also.
Right.
The fact that many of these governments in Canada and the US and the UK do not take action against these characters is because most of them are agents of their intelligence agencies.
Right.
are used to pressurize India, they are used to badmouth India, they used to sully India's image, and they, for a certain propaganda campaign which they carry out. And final point I want to make, Anand, and I think this is very important. The reason why they go and attack Hindu temples is the same reason as why synagogues are attacked when you have a problem against Israeli policy.
Right.
But what do? You first attack the Jews, you attack the synagogues because you are lumping them together with Israel. It's the same policy with these guys, and this policy does not come from them, it comes from Islamabad and Rawalpindi. And until and unless we understand this, we realize this reality, we are never going to get to the bottom of it. So I think we need to take action against these fellows directly. We need to do whatever is within our means. We need to take action against Western governments whose intelligence agencies are pandering and whose agents these fellows are. And we need to act against the Pakistanis on this entire matter. Otherwise, let's not have these debates. And most of all, any Indian or any person from the Indian community, diaspora, who does not stand up and does not take up cudgels along with the Sikh community against these characters, do not ban their businesses, do not stop doing businesses with them. And I can tell you a whole lot of people, including people who are handling temples, who are doing business with these guys, which is why they can't identify them.
Correct.
Because
so somewhere there is a thing about who will bell the cat, and at least there are 200 people who stood up against 25, and those numbers prevailed, and it's visible. The other aspect is we have to call out this fakery, and third, some hard steps need to be taken against those elements who will not change. Then we have to do what is possible at our end also to send out a strong message. Thank you for your suggestion, Sushantji, Sukhi Chahalji. Thank you for your time. Have to quickly move on here on the right stand. Shifting focus and closer home, ladies and gentlemen, on Saturday, PM Narendra Modi became the first Bharatiya Prime Minister to take on a sortie on the Tejas aircraft. And with this, he sent out a strong message on the indigenization and importance of Atmanirbharta, especially in the defense sector. But yet again, needless political nitpicking has emerged. First, it was the Congress party that started the credit war, and now the Trinamool has stooped to perhaps an all-new low. Trinamool Congress MP Shantanu Sen has said that PM Narendra Modi has taken Tejas sortie. He fears it will crash. The remark drawing massive criticism from the BJP, but this is not how it all started. There were barbs like Maut Ka Saudagar in 2007, Neech, Khoon Ki Dalali thereafter in 2014, 2019. PM was then called Panauti, which means bad omen, after Bharat lost the Cricket World Cup final against Australia at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad, and all that because PM was present there physically. Question is, has this name calling gone too far? Let's go straight across to Shazia Almi, national spokesperson of the BJP, and America IV Narayanan, Congress leader. Mr. Narayanan, Namaste, Jai Bharat, Jai Hind. Thank you very much for joining us. Is this really going to be the political discourse?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. First thing is, let's get few things clear. Tejas is a great fighter plane which is going to replace MiG-21. It has flown 1400 miles or nautical miles, I think, to Dubai Air Show, where it stood up against the Pakistan-driven Chinese flight. I think it's JK something. Now, so when we talk about Tejas, let the opposition and yourself be clear. We are not talking about Tejas, which is manufactured by HAL, which of course the Prime Minister cancelled when he bought the French Air Squadron, making sure that HAL does not get the maintenance contract or assemble contract. But leaving that aside, the criticism of the Prime Minister, let's be clear, it is not the criticism of the Indian Air Force or Indian soldiers. We salute them. Now, let's come back to the question in hand, where the Prime Minister has taken the first Prime Minister to take traveling in a fighter plane. And I salute the Prime Minister. I think the Prime Minister is an ambassador, and when he personally goes in that, I think he should have gone to Dubai Air Show too, because he's great in one of the best qualities of our Prime Minister is he's a great marketing man, and he should have gone to Dubai and really done that job, because we would have had more orders and we could have created more employment for our HAL engineers and in Bangalore. But I just wonder why the Prime Minister has not given the same kind of job which he could have given to the HAL when he bought the French, and instead gave it to Reliance, which did not have any experience. But the Tejas, we want to put it on record, it started in 1980s and still continued till 2014 and subsequently moved forward. And I think the Prime Minister, I really give the credit to the Prime Minister. He has done a great job in terms of projecting Tejas, and I think it needs to be projected.
Sir, with my humble submission,
he wants to take the whole
can you hear me,
nation
sir?
on things like this.
Can you hear me, sir?
More often than not, the criticism comes against the Prime Minister because he wants to politicize everything.
No, how is doing a sortie, Mr. America V. Narayanan? First up, it is not Tejas, it is Tejas. Tejas means that...
Tejas, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Tejas,
so it is
I stand
Tejas.
corrected. Thank you for correcting me.
Let's appreciate and understand why it is called, and you as America V. Narayanan should understand the meaning of Tejas and where it emanates from. But on the other hand, no. So starting from there, sir, there were a lot of truths that you were very economical with. Be it the HAL, be it who got the contract, why Rafale was brought, and when the Rafale deal was entered into, if it was PM Narendra Modi. Let's not get there because it will be a long lecture in history, or perhaps why you're economical. No, so you're not. So you're being very, very economical with facts. Because then are you trying to say that the Congress leaders... No, did you say that... Okay, let me not get into it. Shazia Almi, please respond. Please respond. That the Prime Minister is doing... is being criticized, not the Indian Air Force, and the criticism is that because the Prime Minister is politicizing everything.
Do you know what happened last time Rahul Gandhi made these casted aspersions on Prime Minister Modi, and how the sale and the deal of Rafale was brought about? Do you know how that last thing transpired, how that panned out? When Supreme Court itself said very clearly that there has been absolutely fair play and there is no chance or any wrongdoing, and Rahul Gandhi actually had to apologize for having bandied around lies. Actually, it is in the DNA of the Congress party and their stooges to believe that nothing is possible without kickbacks. They were, after all, the kings, the kickback
Mr. Narayanan, she didn't interrupt you. One minute, Shahzaji. 1 minute, Shahzaji. Mr. Narayanan, please don't heckle. Please wait for your turn. 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 Please wait for your turn.
Don't use unparliamentary words.
No, please wait for your turn. You have the right to be sarcastic and you have the right to go after the Prime Minister, but the BJP does not have a right to respond. No, sir. Let her respond and you counter, Mr. Narayanan. Please, Mr. Narayanan. Please wait your turn. Please wait for your turn.
Ill-informed stooges of the Congress party and the
Shahzaji, can we please refrain from name calling, please?
And carried out. So coming now.
Can we please?
No, I actually believe it. The Supreme Court. No, I'm not doing that. You know about Bofors. You know how kickbacks happened. But now look at the situation today. There is now so much embarrassment amongst these fools. You know why? Because the Prime Minister shows the path. Do you know the defense exports for the first time? Do you know what they are? 60,000 crores. Can you imagine the faith in Indian industry, in indigenous capabilities of HAL, and the exclusive club India will be a part of, being a developing country along with Brazil, which is the only one so far in the developing countries which actually makes fighter jets and exports them. So look at these ill-informed stooges of yesteryears, of crony capitalists and corruptionists who cannot even understand why this is happening. And I would also like to say that it's a matter of great pride that the Prime Minister walks the talk. Those visuals are very impressive. They bolster not just the image of India but Indian capability. And to talk about and politicize his taking a sortie in Tejas at this point of time is just another exhibition of small-mindedness and all the jealousy these small-minded people seem to be simmering in and marinating in only because they have nothing else to say. So I think it's a matter of great pride. I think Indian Prime Minister has done an exemplary job when it comes to talking about the indigenous capabilities of India and HAL, and in boosting defense exports to the tune of 60,000 crores. This is the first. And imagine Tejas will be now exported to Argentina and to Egypt, and we want to do it to many more countries also exported. So this is where we are. And just see the naysayers. All they have to come up with, oh, why is the Prime Minister taking a sortie? This is, and you know, they're the true panautis. They're panautis for India and Indian abilities and Indian capabilities.
Now, Shahjaz ji, please.
For India.
Shahjaz ji, please.
And I think that, and they're aware of it.
Mr. Narayanan respond. Yeah.
First, I think whatever she said in terms of bringing employment and taking our country's flight where Argentina and other
I
flights
didn't even mention
I
employment.
welcome that. I really salute that. No, let me finish up, please. Now, to call somebody, you know, when you don't have the point, you start calling other people by name. Stooges, you know, liquors and whatnot. We can do that,
Yeah,
but it's
that's
not
what
in
Rahul
our
Gandhi
No.
blood.
Shahjaz ji, now please.
Rahul Gandhi
Shahjaz ji, now
did.
please.
It's
You
not in our
please
blood.
don't intervene. Please let him complete.
It's not in our blood to call everybody by name. When you don't have logical answer, you start calling people by names.
Mr. Narayanan, with
I
your
never-
with
as a
due
matter of
respect,
fact,
sir.
I avoided. Let
Mr.
me
Narayanan,
finish up.
sorry.
What logic?
Please,
No, one way,
I want to
Shahjaz
go back to
ji,
the
Shahjaz
subject
ji,
on
please.
hand.
Mr. Narayanan, just 10 seconds from you, and then you please continue. Going by what you just now said, sir, you are actually saying whatever the Congress and the Trinamool Congress has said about the PM is wrong. Because they have nothing else to say, they are indulging in name calling the PM. By your own logic, right?
I'll come back to that. I'll answer. Since you asked that question, I'll answer that. I'll answer that. First, so the point
Time
is,
for me to guffaw.
when you don't have the answer,
Okay.
ma'am, if you finish it, you are welcome to take the show, because it's always been you guys,
No,
most of the shows you want
America
to
ji,
promote.
America ji,
and
America
you
ji,
know
when
the-
she was speaking, you were guffawing.
No,
Now you are
let me-
speaking, she
no,
is guffawing. But
you asked me
I
to
request,
stop,
okay,
and
please
you did
go
not
ahead.
ask me.
Please go ahead, Mr.
please.
Narayanan.
No, I'll come
Please
to that.
go ahead,
Please.
Mr. Narayanan.
Let me come to
Guffaw.
that.
Okay.
That's
First
only
thing
fair.
first thing is that, see, what happens is, it is the enemy in a battle. I'm not calling the Prime Minister enemy. I think he is my Prime Minister. But in a battle, who determines what is the weapon that you got to use? Rahul Gandhi and opposition leaders has been, you know, what they have done, and I think they have just started getting to be paid in their own coin. I just don't want to get into that. It's unfortunate, but it is a BJP and the Prime Minister, unfortunately, when he was right from the Chief Minister's time, has been using unparliamentary, or I would call not necessarily the same equivalent of Panati. They have used it, and now they are getting paid in the same coin. Let's just leave that out. Let's come back to, I did not use the word Rafale because it will bring the corruption, it will bring the reliance, it will bring the thing. You did say that Rahul Gandhi did apologize to Supreme Court, not because of what he talked about in the Rafale dealings, where the Prime Minister has cancelled several squadrons that would have been assembled, but instead he bought only 36 fully equipped for the same price.
you're
Not
wrong
for
again.
that. But he
You're
used,
completely
let me finish up.
You're completely
He attributed to the Supreme Court, he attributed to the Supreme Court that the watchman is a thief. I forgot the Hindi word for it, just like I mispronounced Tejas wrongly. But coming back, that he attributed to Supreme Court, which the Supreme Court did not say.
Mr. Narayanan,
But Supreme
Mr.
Court
Narayanan.
did not criticize him, and he did not
Mr.
apologize
Narayanan.
for bringing up
Mr.
where they
Narayanan,
brought
okay,
in reliance.
Shahjaz.
Mr. Narayanan, whoever you are, sir,
I'll keep quiet.
You know, I mean, with all deference, I mean, I really want to say, Mr. Narayanan, I don't know who you are, but I just want to read out, you seem to be, you seem to have very sketchy details about what's happened and what's actually transpired. Let us get real. And I want to read out what the Supreme Court said. Supreme Court dismissed all petitions seeking a court-monitored probe of 59,000 crore contract for Rafale fighter jet bid by Dassault. And they also said there was no reason to doubt the decision-making process because the petitioners had alleged fiscal malfeasance and commercial favoritism. So this is what has happened. Everybody, that part is over and done with. Coming to Tejas and on the name calling, you know, when you talk about, when you wish badly for, and you say that PM would be panauti or bad news or it augurs badly for Tejas, do you know what you do? You are not just doubting the processes of the national processes and what is happening in the country, but you're casting aspersions on Indian Air Force, on the pilots. You actually are being literally unlucky and bringing bad luck, because these are bad vibrations. And not just that, you talk about cricket, you talk about Chandrayaan. So what is the point? I understand you have an axe to grind with the Prime Minister, but here you're roping in India's scientists, Indian cricket team, India's pilots, Indian Air Force. And I think that extrapolation.
There, Shahjaji, Mr. Narayanan was very clear.
I think it's actually in very bad taste.
He was very clear that it is no disrespect to the Indian Air Force, to the pilots, to the engineers, to the technicians, those who have developed Tejas at all. He qualified that right at the beginning. But what stands out, Mr. Narayanan, is that every time the Congress party or the opposition has gone after the PM personally, at least for the last 16 years, sir, it has backfired. From the 2006-2007 Maut Ka Saudagar episode till date, sir, every time somebody has called him names, it has backfired. Now, why is this keenness to flog a dead horse, if I may say that? Because it only backfires. The whiplash is back on you. When I say you, the opposition.
Can I?
Yes, final word, sir.
Can I respond to that? Okay, first thing is, I think finally the people are the judge, and I think Congress has to bow its head, and we respect the people's judgment in the democracy, number one. Number two, as I suggested earlier, it is BJP that has started this game of making our Rahul Gandhi and calling him by names. I think he has come a long way, and through Bharat Jodo Yatra, and I think he is connecting with the people well.
I think the
state results will speak up for itself. But having said that, I really think there's nothing wrong in the Prime Minister taking Tejas.
Right.
I think I meant it in the right sense of the word. There are several
frankly,
times
Mr. Narayanan,
I also say
frankly,
the wrong
Mr.
sense of the
Narayanan,
word.
frankly,
But
Mr. Narayanan,
the Prime
if you
Minister
go
is
back
a
to the
great
instance,
marketing man, he should have gone to Dubai,
you may say whatever. You may say that he's a great, he's a master at marketing Bharat and Bharat's achievements. Perfectly fine, sir. But the people who politicized this entire effort and brought it to the attention and notice is the opposition, the Congress and the Trinamool. I have to wind up for the moment, Mr. Narayanan. Thank you for joining us. Shahjaji, please stay on. We shift focus, yet another political debate, and this is just ahead of the youngest state of Bharat going to polls for the second time around, Telangana. The debate over religious revdi has sparked massive debate. Now, first, the Election Commission revoked permission for the BRS government to distribute financial aid to farmers under the Raitu Bandhu scheme due to a model code violation, and then CM K. Chandrasekhar Rao making a big pledge to woo the minority community. Now, KCR has said that if the government is chosen to power again, he will set up a special information technology park for Muslim youth near Pahadi Sharif in Hyderabad. The Congress and the BJP slamming appeasement by KCR, but the BRS hitting back, accusing the Congress and the BJP of also indulging in appeasement politics. The BRS claiming that the Congress promised jobs to minority community and an honorarium to minority priests, among other aspects, a 4,000 crore budget which was being mentioned in their manifesto. BRS accusing the BJP of organizing free darshan for devotees at Ayodhya. But the larger question is these conditional SOPs, and especially such huge amounts and such huge commitments, are they yet again promoting othering, the very factor that saw Bharat being split on the grounds of religion in 1947. Shazia Elmi, national spokesperson of the BJP, and Kishan Reddy, chairman Telangana State Mineral Development Corporation with us. Namaste, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you very much. Kishan Reddy, first to you, sir. Why make these commitments? Why this entire effort to appease and look at people as vote banks and say, I'll promise you this, you give me this. This is very transactional, isn't it?
Well, Anand, one thing we should understand is that Pahadi Sharif, which is right adjacent to this old, old city and this Pahadi Sharif area, there we have a 30-acre land beside Pahadi Sharif, where we have the densely populated Muslim youth there. And what is wrong if we are bringing Muslims to the IT? It's good, na? Giving employment opportunities to them. So, because that area, it is densely populated. So to encourage minority, I'll tell you one thing. Telangana government has hundreds of minority residential schools. We give them English education, food, good uniform, and that is why they are coming, studying as equal to other castes and religions. Which has to be appreciated.
But Krishanji, I'm interrupting you, but here is it. Are you trying to say there is no area in Telangana which has got at least majority Hindu population and there is 30 acres of land? Have you promised a Hindus only school, IT park? Have you promised that? Secondly, if you are promoting schools and tech parks or places which is only for Muslims, how is there equality? How are they studying together? Aren't you creating othering? Muslims will study here, others will study there. Muslims are different, Hindus are different. Isn't this othering? Shouldn't there be a tech park where everybody can go based on merit, based on qualification?
Definitely there are. Anand, you should actually do a case study with Telangana. Telangana has IT parks for everyone. Telangana has a Brahman Parishad. Telangana has a Christian Bhavan. Telangana has for different communities, different scopes also. We have a Komram Beam Bhavan for the tribals too. And now one IT park for the
Bhavan,
Muslim.
no, see, that's the difference. See, to have a culture center or for a community is different from having an educational spot or places like schools and other work areas for particular communities and castes served. That there is a difference, sir. You are allowed to propagate culture and to have community centers for a cultural basis. But beyond that, you then start sowing divide. Muslims will only live here, Muslims will only go there, Hindus will only live here, Hindus will only go there, and then, a backward caste will go there, they will only, you're not uniting society, you're not creating an equal society, you are creating a divided society. That's the argument I'm placing. May I just bring in Shazi Almi and then please counter, please. Okay, sir, 20 seconds and then Shazi. 20 seconds to Krishan.
For decades, no one have brought them out, and that is why they are underdeveloped. So we are actually taking an initiative to bring them out from the poverty and giving an opportunity.
Sir, in that case, do it for economically weaker sections and not just for one particular community, because poor are everywhere. Poor are everywhere, sir. Shazia ji. Krishan ji, please yield. Okay, Shazia ji.
I have a lot to say on this subject. Now, the very fact that the socio-economic indices for the Muslim community are perhaps the lowest, and we have to thank, of course, the so-called secular governments which have been in power for more than 5 to 6 decades. Now, the need is being felt just at the onset of elections by a political party which has been in power for no less than 9 years, 10 years rather, to now suddenly remember Muslims. Now, I want to ask them the question. This reminds me of what Hamid Ansari said, the Vice President, that all the resources of India, the rightful heirs to those would be, beneficiaries of those should be the Muslims. Now, my question is, you look at the central welfare schemes, far more disproportionate to the population of Muslims in India, which is 14%. The actual beneficiaries are almost 30 to 28%. Which means that 28 to 38% beneficiaries are Muslims, which only goes to show that there's all the so-called secular parties or parties talking about Muslims and minorities and have done very little for them. This is a testimony to that. But also it goes on to say that when you treat Muslims, you don't just other them, you perpetuate their minorityism and use it only to fulfill your vote bank needs. And which is the worst kind of disservice you can do to the Muslims. Also, you create and alienate them further by making these announcements, because you make the divide between the two communities wider, because you declare this, you have only one interest, Muslim vote bank. You don't really care, because if you cared, you would not have felt the need to declare this now, but would have done
Sir, a Parsi
a lot
gentleman
more in
has
the last 19 years to make sure there's level playing field.
a gentleman
So
who,
I feel- I
who
think
works with
it's
the
a very
who works with the
vulgar-
Parsi community
it's
is
a
saying
very
there are
vulgar-
there are
it's a very
1200 there are 12.
vulgar form of appeasement.
I totally
Very
agree, ma'am.
vulgar form of appeasement in this service.
Shahzia ji, minorities, frankly, the fact is our constitution doesn't define the word minority. Ideally, they should not be, they should be those
Absolutely.
groups which are 2 to 3% of the population, and that's why they require representation. Not those who are 15, 20% of the population. That's the dangerous game. 2%, 1% of the 1200 Parsis, they are not very well to do in Hyderabad, sir. Nothing's been done for them. Sikhs in Hyderabad, nothing done for them. Buddhists in Hyderabad, where is there a separate institution to equalize them and to bring them to levels? Sir, my point is, Mr. Mane, that this is what it is. It's a vote bank game. Let's accept it. If it's a vote bank game, then why play it? Because you're only dividing, sir. They are the second largest majority in the country, and if they continue to call, and if they're continuously branded minority, and if they are othered, there will be never Samanvaya. We are again looking at further dividing our society and our country. Yes, Krishanji.
Anandji, I'll tell you, in the Minority Commission, there is a representative. A government gives a representative from the Jain community. It is totally wrong that, some particular communities which are minorities are ignored. This is a government for all. I mean, while we celebrate Batkama, which is our local festival, by distributing saris to all the Hindu women, we have Kalyan Lakshmi of 1,01,116 for Hindu girls. At the same time, we have a Shadi Mubarak too. We distribute clothes for the Ramzan also. So we are balancing it. So like you said, we are not doing it only for the Muslims. There are many other. I mean, we have built up a Yadadri. KCR has built a Yadadri.
Krishanji, my humble submission is, if women are getting married, they give them gifts. Why should it be branded that this is for Hindu girls and this is for Muslim women, Muslim girls? That's where you are making the difference. No?
Terrible.
You give it to women who are getting married or girls who are getting married. The second part, sir, like I said, this 30 acres of land where you are building something, you are building for the group that is in majority in that area. Na? You are not building it. You are not building it for those who are in minority in that area.
Anandji,
are you getting my point, sir? You are branding it minority benefit, but you are building it in an area where they are in majority.
Anandji,
तो ये क्या है?
Because जब आपने चर्चा minorities के बारे में किया, that is why I explained about what we are doing to the Hindus. Now, I should say that, for decades, our nation has, Muslim universities. I think where should the buck start from? If we are being blamed today for bringing up a IT park at an area where there is densely populated Muslim youth there, then probably whole India should ratify Muslim universities.
Okay.
I want to correct you, sir.
Okay, Shahzia ji wants to counter you.
So very politely,
you put up practice.
Sir, very kindly, I would like to, very kindly, if you allow me to correct you, there is no provision in the Indian Constitution to have any central grants to universities to be divided or based on religion. You can have private universities and private institutions which can be religious in nature or can be encouraging one community over others. But the government cannot come in, cannot indulge in any such, and will be considered discriminatory, because India is a secular democracy. So the constitution stipulates that there is no way a university can be only for Hindus or Muslims if the central grants are being paid for it, or even the state grants. Now, privately funded universities can be there. Similarly, when you talk about IT park only for Muslims, you are actually violating the basic principles of the constitution. That's one thing. But
that's how you are conveniently wording it. See, Krishan Mane, that's where you are conveniently wording it. What was your explanation? What was your explanation, Krishanji? What was your explanation? That 30 acre of land is in an area which is majority Muslims. So, are you trying to say that in that IT park, Muslims will not be allowed? All those who are in minority there, they will be allowed. That means minority means Hindus, Jains, Sikhs, Buddhists in that area. They will be the ones who will be allowed in that area. No, you said, what did you say? They are in majority in number, maximum number of Muslim youth. That's why I am making. So you are playing conveniently, hiding up behind the word minority. Then in that case, you are building something for the majority in that area. You are not building something for the minority in that area.
Anandji, my prayer is anyone from Hyderabad, anyone, in fact, outside also, if they can come get a job, they can definitely. This is ours is a world-class city. We welcome everyone. But our target is to develop the Muslim youth who haven't seen development in decades.
So
of
then you
Congress
say you're
government.
building the IT park for Muslims, not for minorities.
See,
Because the
no,
Muslims are majority in that area where you're building
Sir,
this.
there is backwardness majority in that area. There is a backwardness. And
Sir,
which community is there?
Sir,
The
देखिए,
which
this is
community
what is
there?
happening. This is
अरे
the
कोई
dangerous.
अच्छा
This
काम
is
करे, कोई
no,
अच्छा
no.
काम
This is
करे,
the dangerous
excuse
part,
नहीं
sir.
करे।
This is the dangerous part, sir. That you are trying to guide or disguise or cloak direct Muslim appeasement in the garb of minorities in an area where Muslims are in majority. That's the whole part. You're not doing anything for anybody who's in minority in a particular area. If you want to do something for the economically weaker section, you do it and open it for anybody who's got an income of less than 10 lakh rupees and any family. Then you would still welcome it. But the moment you start doing it on the name of religion and then cloak it as minority welfare, then sir, we are playing a dangerous game with our country. We are sowing seeds of yet another division, yet another separation, and we are continuously pushing this othering mechanism. That's dangerous, sir. I have to wind up. I've run out of time. But I wish everybody all the best as Telangana. Yeah. Shazia Almi and Kishan Reddy, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a very short break. When we come back, we'll have Anshul Singh live. He's been there for the last 16 days at Uttarkashi around the Silkiara tunnel. We are still hoping that there will be a breakthrough in the next 20 to 25 hours. The updates from Uttarkashi when we come back. Stay with us.
Hello, Moto.
Co-powered by
cause of concern. So they are very, very confident that over the next 72 to 76 hours, this entire operation of vertical drilling will happen. But yes, still the quickest way through which the rescuers can reach at the exact location where these workers are stuck is through the manual drilling process, and we are expecting yet again, fingers crossed and praying to God that this time around the plans that have been made by the rescuers, hopefully this plan will give them the breakthrough that they are waiting for, and hopefully this plan will not fall flat right on its face as we have seen happening over the past 16 days now. So yes, the next few hours are going to be very, very crucial, and finally we are hoping that this time around the plan that has been made of rat mining, this plan will be successful and finally these people will come out safely. Over the last 16 days, rescue operations have been ongoing. The best state-of-the-art machineries have already been called in, but yes, in that debris, all that machineries have failed. And now finally the rescuers have resorted to the only technique that is possible now, and that is what is manual drilling. To talk more on this and to get to know how this process will be going on, because this is being called as rat mining. What is rat mining and how will this happen? I am being joined by the person who is actually going to go ahead and become a hero in this entire operation. I will speak to him and try to figure out as to how will this operation go ahead. भैया आपका नाम क्या है पहले ये बताएं?
मेरा नाम सूर्या मोहन राय है।
अच्छा, ये रैट माइनिंग का कह रहे हैं, ये क्या प्रक्रिया होती है और कैसे होता है? ये
पाइप में जाके मैनुअली खुदाई करते हैं,
हाँ,
और तसला में मिट्टी भर के बाहर करते हैं।
तो ये जो पाइप है, ये पाइप है, बहुत छोटा पाइप है, 800 मिलीमीटर का पाइप है। इसमें जाकर के आप इस मशीन का यूज़ करके आप रैट माइनिंग कीजिएगा। ये कितना मुश्किल टास्क होने वाला है?
इसमें मुश्किल तो कुछ नहीं है करने वाले के लिए, बाकी देखिए।
हौसला तो आपका बिल्कुल बुलंद है, लेकिन ये कैसे प्रक्रिया होती है, एक बार थोड़ा समझाएंगे इससे क्या प्रक्रिया होती है?
हम लोग जैसे खुला मिट्टी हो, ज़्यादा खुला जैसे हार्ड मिट्टी आएगी तो उसमें हम हिल्टी यूज करेंगे, नहीं तो हम मैनुअली कस्सी से तसला भर के निकालेंगे मलबा।
ये पत्थर और ये सब हटाने के लिए, मलबा हटाने के काम आएगा। लेकिन अगर बीच में कुछ लोहा आ गया, कुछ और आ गया, तो उसके लिए भी ये सफल रहेगा या उसके लिए कुछ और प्रक्रिया और लगेगी?
उसके लिए गैस कटर है हमारे पास, जो हमारे वेल्डर भी हैं, यहाँ पे फिटर भी हैं, वो कटिंग करके निकालेंगे, फिर हम आगे बढ़ते रहेंगे।
तो क्या उम्मीद है? आप देखिए 41 लोग फंसे हुए हैं, उनके परिवार वाले भी देख रहे होंगे, तो उनको कैसे आप क्या बोलना चाहेंगे उनको और कैसे उनको मोटिवेट करना चाहेंगे?
हम लोग एक्चुअली कोशिश कर रहे हैं, निकाल देंगे, इतना एक्सपीरियंस है हम लोग को।
इससे पहले आप कहाँ थे, कहाँ से आए हैं आप?
एक्चुअली मैं तो दिल्ली से आया हूँ।
हाँ,
काफ़ी जगहों पे काम कर चुका हूँ।
हाँ। So yes, this is the last hope that the people who are stuck inside the tunnel for the last 41 days, now finally these rat miners will go inside and make sure manually that each and every person who is stuck inside, that they will come out, and also the kind of debris that is present, that debris will be taken out now manually. What remains to be seen, if at all this plan will be successful, because over the last 16 days we have seen that several of the plans that have been made by the rescuers, that has absolutely fallen flat on its face, be it the state-of-the-art machineries that have been used. Now finally we have come back to the basics, and finally people will go in and physically take out the debris. Hopefully this time around this plan will be successful, and finally we'll get to see those visuals where these people are finally coming out of the tunnel safely. Few workers had reported of some uneasiness, but yes, they have been given the requisite medicines, is what the rescuers are claiming at this point in time, since we haven't been able to make any sort of contact with the workers. But yes, what the rescuers are saying at this point in time, what they are claiming at this point in time, is that all of them are absolutely safe, their mental health is good. But yes, that is the big question, that for how long will these people remain motivated, because it has been more than 15 days. This is the 16th day that is ongoing, and for the last 16 days they have been stuck inside this tunnel, although finally they started getting getting access to solid food and everything. But yes, that also happened after 9 days. So what the doctors who have spoken to them told us, that yes, these people are fine, they have lost a lot of weight, but yes, they are doing fine and they remain motivated. But yes, the rescue operations that are underway, that is absolutely in full swing today. Over the last 48 hours we saw that the entire drilling operation came to a grinding halt because of a miscalculation that was done by the rescuers at that point. The ground penetrating radar, the report that came in from that radar, absolutely proved to be absolutely false. And in fact, the experts that have been, the best of the best experts that have been called in from all across the globe, they were actually not able to read through that ground penetrating radar reports that had come in. And that is the reason why over the last more than 48 hours, the entire operation came to a grinding halt, where the auger machine was stuck inside the pipe for more than 48 hours. And that is the reason why the process of vertical drilling was also started. I'll just try and move out of the frame and try and show you in the visuals over here. Finally, the auger machine has come out from the pipe. It took the rescuers 48 hours to rescue the auger machine, and in the next few minutes we are expecting that this manual drilling process will start. The Indian Army has also been called in. The best engineers of the Indian Army have been called in over here. Rat miners have been called in over here, who have a lot of experience as to how to manually drill through the terrain. But yes, the terrain that the rescuers are facing at this point in time, this terrain is debris, and it is very difficult to predict what might come up in the debris. So if everything goes according to the plan, the rat miners expect that within the next 16 to 18 hours they'll be able to make that breakthrough. But yes, what will come up in the
Back on the right stand, rescue operations are on a war footing to rescue 41 trapped labourers from the Silkyara tunnel. On Friday, the auger machines failed and its blade got stuck in the debris during the drilling operations. Latest information is that rescuers have started rat mining to rescue the trapped workers. Now, what's the rat mining technique, ladies and gentlemen? Small tunnels are dug for narrow pathways, and these are people who are experts in this kind of mining. 6 workers are already at it. They will try and bore through the remaining 10 to 12 meters. Methods generally used in coal mines, deep in coal mines, is used in regions with difficult terrain. And that's the methodology that's going to be used even as a vertical drilling attempt continues. They've got to drill through 86 meters. They've drilled through about more than 30 meters. Anshul Singh now joins us live. Anshul, what's the latest update? The workers had assured some success in the next 24 to 36 hours this afternoon. Do we have a latest update? Are they working through the night?
So yes, the workers would be working through the night, and some good news for all our viewers is that finally the head of the auger machine that was stuck inside the debris for the last 48 hours has finally been taken out, and manual drilling process has started. The rat mining has started, and at this point in time the next 6 meters is what we are being told is the most crucial, because it is expected that for the next 6 meters is the portion where heavy metal pieces could be found, and if the workers are able to get through that patch of 6 meters, then we can expect the good news of that massive breakthrough very soon. So yes, the work will be ongoing throughout the night. At this point, as we are speaking, more than 2 meters of approximately 2 meters has been dug through that debris, and currently we are standing somewhere around the somewhere between the 48 and 49 meter mark. It is expected that the entire length of the debris could be somewhere around 57 to 60 meters mark. So yes, somewhere around 8 to 10 meters needs to be dug at this point in time, and the work will continue through the night. On the other hand, there is success that we are seeing happening in the vertical drilling process as well. Till the last update that we have gotten, 36 meters of tunneling has already been done, and only the next 50 meters remain to go, and that work is also happening at a war footing. So yes, we can yet again expect that good news to come in very, very soon. Optimistically, as I said, optimistically within the next 24 hours, and pessimistically within the next 36 hours, we can get that breakthrough news to our viewers.
Well, the vertical drilling continues as an option that is going to take some more time. What they are hoping for is success this time around in the horizontal drilling itself, using the help of these rat miners. Anshul Singh, thank you for your update and great job done on ground. Thank you. With that, it's a wrap of this edition of The Right Stand. Zaka Jacob with Brass Tacks right now.
Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. It started off with the Panoti and Papi jibes, but now the opposition has taken it one notch too far. They have extended the same logic to Prime Minister Modi's maiden sortie on the indigenously developed light combat aircraft, the Tejas, which happened on Friday. TMC Member of Parliament, no less, Shantanu Sen, has said that just like we lost the World Cup final because of the Panoti Prime Minister,